Hello everybody, and welcome to My Hero Academia Chapter 326 review. This chapter is titled, Who Are You Really? Now, last time Deku finally got out of his whole dark Deku stage and started on his path to being back a hero after his whole, oh no, I'm not a hero anymore thing. But this chapter starts off with All Might, because if you remember last chapter, we saw him sort of sulk off away behind Shadow of the Night of UA. But we cut back to him in his car, Hercules, and we see him there, and we see him thinking, where are you off to now? I'm checking on the hero-hating groups who refuse to join his shelter, Ectoplasm. And pretty much him talking to Deku and him being like, I'm coming too. You can't go off on your own and be this sort of thing, and how he jumped away whenever All Might tried to give him the bento box. We see him walk over and find where Deku's mask thingy, I don't know what the respirator looking thing that goes over his mouth is, near the All Might statue that has the sign of I am not here on it. Right, he picks it up, and he looks at the statue and says, You couldn't do anything for your disciple when he was hurting. And we cut back to him and Aizawa looking at the stars, and Aizawa giving him sort of some motivational talk. And All Might says, at this point, you're only getting in the way, All Might. And he looks away as a voice laughs at him in the distance. And then there's a sword in front of his head. From All Might's head, and we see a character, Stain, is there, and Stain says, "What vile blasphemy against a great hero? Take it back, you witless fool." And All Might says, "Oh, hero killer Stain," and he says, "You never crossed back on my path when I was still in a job. Our face-to-face meeting got delayed, but I never imagined we'd meet like this." Stain says, "Explain yourself," and All Might does. He says, "You missed a lot while you were locked up. I'm All Might in the flesh." And Stain says, "Wrong. You're not All Might." And All Might briefly takes his muscle form for a quick second, and then he goes and spits up one. And he says, "So you still want to kill me?" And Stain says, "No. You're not All Might. You sham." As he puts the blade ever so closer to All Might's neck, and he says, "Here upon hero holy ground, you dare to falsely claim the mantle of hero? Who are you really? Why presume to call yourself a hero? Speak." And All Might says, "Falsely claim? Fair enough. My whole life I felt spurred into action. I couldn't sit back and accept it. Then the madness kept taking me from people when their daily lives were stolen away so senselessly. Powerless though I was, I refused to sit on the sidelines. I had to make the world a better place somehow. But I've run my course now, and this is the end result. I'd give my life in an instant to protect my disciple. I couldn't bring myself to tell him to take care of himself. It's hard to explain, but I feel as if I'm the only one who's become more distant from heroism, whatever." And we see Stain go and launch at him and hold him back behind a block of stone, as we see somebody in the distance at the All Might sign, or at the All Might statue, using her quirk to get up and take away the sign. And as we see this, we see Stain is saying, "Ideal timing, behold." And we see a lady say, "They did it again." And we see Stain and All Might watching this woman take off the sign off the statue, and Stain says, "Every day she purges the blasphemy erected by the hero desecrators. She travels from a nearby shelter and causes no small inconvenience to those in charge." All Might says, "Risking her life out here and for nothing, why on earth would she? Why would that woman?" And no, Stain says, "Why? That woman was the last person All Might saved." And we see that, yes, it is. She was a person under the rubble as whenever AFO went and tried to fight All Might and all of that stuff, whenever all of that went down. Volume 11 is what contains it. Should be somewhere near there in the frame. And All Might realizes this, and Stain just starts saying, in the worst of times, All Might wanted to maintain that grin and devote every fiber of his being to the people. It had nothing to do with powers or quirks. The man we knew as All Might could not live his life any other way. He carved those ideals into his soul and was lauded for it. Who are you to presume you know the first thing about All Might? No, look upon that woman. That the end result, you say? His influence lives on. The flickering ember he left behind is nurtured by those select few who succumb neither to the chilling rain nor the howling wind until ember grows into a roaring blaze. Sort of just, in a way, thinking about that image of All Might in One for All, and how the flame just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's sort of leading into that, being like, but hey, it's not just this one quirk. All Might had the power to change all these people. That's pretty much what it is. And Stain continues saying, the people must not let that fire die out, no matter how undefined the struggle. They must stroke the flame so long as they draw a breath. And look at the lady once more, muttering a few words to herself as she takes down the sign, and All Might starts to cry. And Stain then says, a hero can only claim that title as long as his soul burns fiercely in service of others. However, say a god has fallen, prostrate upon the earth, and his divine soul has turned feeble and mortal. And then All Might looks around and says, what? You saw that all this time you've been? And Stain says, no, I don't presume to know you. But if you are a true hero, take this of my information from my time in Tartarus, as he throws a dagger with a piece of paper attached to it. And Stain says, then come for the life of Stain, the man who murdered 40 heroes, all for the sake of fixing this society. All Might cries as the woman looks up in the sky, and after she's done with her job, and says, oh, the rain's letting up. And that's the end of the chapter. Now this chapter is an interesting one. It pretty much solidifies Stain as that anti-hero, who also is a villain, because it clearly states he murdered 40 heroes, but he's also willing to help. It just puts that in like a weird area, but it's fine. It was a good chapter. I like symbolism of the woman being the last one All Might saved, and just how that all worked out. Good chapter. Few problems with it, but in the end, it goes for good to cement All Might's sort of role. And Stain, hey, don't think most of us expected him to be back so soon after the whole fight with Nagant. So yeah, thank you for watching, and this will be Glowplasma231 out.